Welcome into the Gaming Discourse. I'm Tyler Frater alongside Richard D. the Cruz, who is not here today, and Chief Engineer, Lieutenant Commander Connor Frater.
Good evening.
It is Monday, August 18th, 2025. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/gaming discourse, patreon.com/the gaming discourse. You can support us for $247, $10. Get your name in the video credits, early access to our videos, access to our Discord server, and more. I have a new review coming out soon, a review of Hurdling, Okamoto's next game. I cannot talk about it for now, but it will be published as soon as it can be within the next few days. The game releases on August 21st, so the review will be released on that day. I'm essentially finished with it. I have like a couple, like maybe an hour or two left of editing it to get it where I needed to get to, but other than that, it's basically finished. I'll just have to get it done, and then I'll just have to wait to publish it. And then if you follow us on Patreon, I'll have some details about upcoming projects that I'll be working on after this, and maybe something else. So go to our Patreon page, check it out. Every now and then I do Friday morning blogs, and every now and then there's a free post that's accessible to the public. And also, if you're just following us on the free tier on Patreon, you also get access to the free posts as well. So go look at that. We've got news, we've got games. Connor,
yes.
Why don't you talk about what you've been playing?
So I've been playing a couple soon to be released games. Hex Guardian, which is a hex tile game mixed with tower defense. The demo's fun. You lay out how the map ends up being, so like all the paths that the enemies take is decided by you, and you.
Is it Hexile? Or how do you pronounce it? Sorry. The game.
Oh, Hex Guardian, I think.
Hex Guardian. Oh, I thought you said Hexile. I'm sorry.
No.
Continue.
Sorry, that threw me off. No. So you place down the different hexagons that have like roads or rivers on them for soldiers and boats to travel on, and you put out towers to create your tower defense. The demo is, of course, small in scope. There is an unlock tree that looks fairly expansive that you can unlock a few different tower types from. And each tower has its own little internal upgrade tree, which actually makes it fun because there's not just fun, but like a bit of strategy involved of like setting up your freezing towers so that they hit multiple units next to cannon tower so that it hits large bulks of enemies, maximizes damage output, stuff like that.
Okay.
A lot of the basic tower defense stuff, but you also get to decide where the enemies are coming from.
Okay. So you can kind of manipulate their paths.
Yeah.
Sort of orcs must die kind of thing. Okay.
But you can create endpoints on these routes, which stop units from spawning there. But if you do that too many times and the enemies don't have enough places to spawn at, they get really good buffs.
Okay.
Yeah, they get like extra armor, extra health, extra movement speed. So you could really facilitate the difficulty just by creating looping paths that close in on themselves or creating these endpoints so that you're forcing the enemies to spawn between like 2 and 3 spots to really ramp up the difficulty.
And sort of bottle. Oh, okay. Then that wouldn't be bottlenecking them then.
It does, yes.
Oh, okay.
Because they can only come in from certain paths, and they'll take the most direct route to your castle.
Yeah.
So you can create choke points and bottlenecks that way by forcing them all through a specific area.
Oh, okay.
But if you do that, they're all going to get massive buffs, so you better have enough damage output.
That's an interesting little dynamic. It's sort of a give and take then. Okay, cool. Yeah. It is out now on Steam.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you were playing on. Were you playing on PC or PS5?
PC.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'll probably pick it up folded.
This one.
Yes.
Yep. It is out now, so
cool.
You can pick it up. Yeah.
I also picked up the demo for Adapted, which is a Spore-like game.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which that seems like it should have been like. It had the juice. It had like that niche idea that should have exploded a long time ago, but Didn't. Thanks,
Yeah,
EA.
Spore has a whole history to it.
Yeah.
And it has to do. And was Peter Molyneux involved with that?
No, you're thinking of Fable.
Fable. I know there was Fable, and because that was EA. Was that Maxis that did Spore?
Yeah, Maxis did Spore. Yeah.
Okay. Or was it Will Wright that did? Because Will Wright was Sims.
He did both.
Did he do both?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. All right. But yeah, I do remember that Spore is one of those first quote unquote controversial internet game, like really like prehistoric controversial internet game.
We're talking
like 2008, 2009 or
John Riccatello.
What?
Yeah, he took over right like during like the
so it would have been like 2007, 2008.
Yeah,
because Riccatello took over EA, and I believe 2007.
And there's a few like smaller documentaries about it that all of them talk about John Riccatello. Yeah, because you can't talk about late 2000s EA without talking about John Riccatello.
You can't talk about EA without talking about him. Yeah, he was really influential during the 2000s, but. Yeah. Well, but anyway,
it's super early right now.
So what was this one called?
Adapted.
Okay.
It's super early. Not much to do in it. The character creator or the monster creator, animal creator, whatever you want to call it, is very limited in scope. But again, it's super early.
Oh well, that's kind of neat, and I wish that would happen more often. Yes. I wish we would get more city skylines.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So much. Yes. Like. City skylines, like from SimCity, like 2013, I think it was that.
Yeah, the one that was the online, and it was a complete disaster. And that was another one of the early internet controversy video games.
DRM, yeah.
Yeah, right as everybody was getting on the internet, right as the internet like exploded in ubiquity and popularity, which in my mind, I like for some reason with me, it's like 2010 is the dividing line. I don't know why. Maybe smartphones. Smartphones became more ubiquitous.
Yeah.
The App Store came out, I think, 2007. So smartphones became more ubiquitous. Like everybody, some people had like iPads and stuff or iPods.
There was like online gaming before then. Like obviously there was on PC, but console gaming really like came into itself. Like console online gaming really came into itself around 2010 as well.
And then of course you had sort of the rise of YouTube, Angry Joe, Pro Jared, like YouTubers like that. That I think created like the alternate media scapes for video games, and then that's a whole that would be an interesting little topic. Prehistoric, because like the first internet controversies I remember with video games are Error 37, and SimCity, that one. And then, I don't know, I'm forgetting one. I'm sure there's there's one I'm not talking that has to do with a game. But that wasn't so much a controversy. It was just a harassment movement and hate movement. But in terms of like specific video games. But I'm sorry, anyway. Like, yes, taking the idea of a famous video game and then
that has been
milked and chewed and shitified. Yes, like Sims or SimCity, et cetera, et cetera.
It's like, with Sims, you have Inzoi, which is I want to say Chinese company makes it.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of AI in the game, so I wasn't super interested in it.
You can import images and have the game generate that object in game. For better or for worse, it is good that there's something that's competing with EA in that space.
Yeah.
It's not the best. Like, there's AI in it.
And I think there may be a few others. Paradoxes was unfortunately canceled.
Yeah.
I forget what the Paradox one was called. But that one looked like it had a lot
Life by You or something like that?
Yes, I think so. I think that's it.
Yeah.
That one looked like it had a lot of cool potential, but it just, for whatever reason didn't pan out. It's too bad. But I'm sorry. So adapted Spore-like very early on.
Super early access. There's only like 8 or 10 different like leg types. There's no arms yet.
What do you need arms for?
Yeah. Fuck it.
Birds don't have arms. I mean, what do you?
Yeah, fuck them. It's really just a proof of concept.
Okay.
But it has that that Spore charm to it, where everything looks a little
A little cartoony.
A little derpy.
Everything kind of looks like the nerd monsters, off of nerd boxes, have like the giant, the kind of like Yoshi type nose with the eyes and the feet.
100%,
yeah. They all look tasty. Even when you add teeth on it, you're still like, you look
candy.
Like, you look like you'd be tasty coming out of a candy box. I don't know why, but okay. Well, that's cool. I love that stuff. I wish there was a lot more of it.
These two I pulled from the Steam indie dev, small team dev.
Yeah, which I love that Steam's doing more.
That is
like that.
so important. That needs to be continued to be done, not just through Steam, through other platforms. Come on, guys.
Yes.
Like support the indie scene because that's where all.
So it's
all
adapt, not adapted.
Adapt,
sorry. I think I may have said it wrong too. I'm gonna add that to my wish list, and there's a demo. Nice. I want to run around as a tadpole and eventually do a rocket to space.
So like one of the interesting things that this game did that Spore doesn't, you can make water-based creatures.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like and that was like, not to go too deep into it, but that was an original intent of Spore that was cut because of budgetary restraints and the game not doing well because of EA bullshit.
Did you recently watch a documentary on
Yes, I did.
Okay, I was gonna say, because if you know all this off the top of your head.
I watched it like a month and a half, 2 months ago while I was doing laundry.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that and then a demo that you and I both have played, Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon.
Yeah, and that game is also out, I think. I'll look it up real quick.
That was coming out soon.
Fall of Avalon. Talk about what you think of it, and I will look it up.
So the first draw that I had to it was
it is out, and you may have just heard the trailer out of my phone. Yeah, and it's like a Skyrim like.
Yeah, it's a Skyrim like, but it's Arthurian. So it's faux medieval England, and it's grimdark as hell.
Yeah,
and
yep.
You know me, Warhammer. I love my grimdark.
Yeah, it's very Warhammer. A lot of at the beginning of the demo. You wake up in a prison, very Elder Scrolls, and you get through the sewers, you have to escape, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like a cult or a religious order, the Red Priests.
Yep.
And I was thinking the same thing. They look very Warhammer-esque. And even some of like the cutscenes with some of the armor and some of the swords.
The armor that King Arthur wears is very Emperor of God or God Emperor of Mankind.
But then you go to like another area, you get transported to like another area, and it becomes
surreal.
It becomes biomechanical. It becomes Giger. It becomes HR Giger. Is it HR? Yeah. I don't know if I'm saying his first name right, but it's clearly like Giger inspired with biomechanical and how everything's sort of functional and weird and like creepily erotic and stuff like that. So I was curious because you only see that part early in the demo. There's only like one room that has a really heavy Giger inspiration.
Yeah.
And I was curious if that continued throughout the rest of the game.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, because I don't know, having that distinct art style mixed, because it's often mixed with like sci-fi or straight up horror or something. Yeah. But if you mixed it with like medieval Skyrim type ambience, I think that could be really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm sorry, I cut you off like a million times. What did you think of the combat and stuff?
The combat took a second to figure out.
Yeah.
You can't block or parry when you have magic in your offhand.
Okay.
So I went for, Spellblade kind of build, so going magic and weapon, and I quickly figured out, if I need to block, I need to get those weapon loadouts set up so that I could quick swap to a weapon that I could just block with and quick swap back to my weapon spell. And I do enjoy like the first spell, like one of the first spells you can get is like a little like fireball flare thing. And it has two modes. You could just chuck it at people, or you could charge it up and do a larger explosion with it. Very fun. Another spell I found is a life drain spell that heals you if you keep it going long enough.
Yeah.
And that makes combat so easy.
you kind of have to avoid your enemy the whole time, but Yeah, you can just like let me let me steal your soul.
Well, I'm doing that and like swinging a dagger at them and then dodging backwards when they do
Yeah,
their big attacks. And
Well, once I got the dodging down, I thought, okay, I could like I could, I could get into this combat a little bit. I could figure this out. I see the reviews. The reviews seem like I've read a lot of the reviews on Steam because I've thought about picking that up because it's the responsible thing to do when you're in the middle of Death Stranding 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Avowed is just pick up another open world RPG. Yeah. But I've seen reviews say that it's mixed and it's good at the beginning but kind of drops off later on. But I'm like okay with that stuff. I don't know, not every game's perfect. I sometimes think, obviously, not everybody, people have to dictate their purchases based on what they can afford and stuff like that. And so that's important. But also I think, I don't know, sometimes I wish I were a little more brave about jumping into games that I know aren't perfect, because you never know what you'll find in there. Like, I remember reading the reviews to Dread Delusion and all the people that didn't like the combat, and they were right. But I'm so happy I played Dread Delusion, because that game, the writing was excellent, ambience was excellent, soundtrack was excellent, story was excellent. So it's like, yeah, the combat wasn't great, but the entire experience was incredibly fulfilling.
Yeah.
So it's
when you see reviews really focusing in on one thing, that can be telling about like this is a flaw with the game. But if no one's talking about the other things, like the story, the other mechanics of the game, that could be an indicator of, hey, maybe they're good or just passable. And if the writing's good, that can make up for clunky mechanics.
Yeah, and I know that that's a story. Not Fall of Avalon is the subtitle. Yeah. Tainted Grail is a series.
Yeah,
I think this may be the second or third one. I don't.
Board game series.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I've seen it before. Was it a board game series first?
Yes. Oh. There's like 3 board games.
Oh, it's one of those weird video games.
Yeah.
It's like BattleTech, where it somehow starts off as a board game and then becomes a video game.
Well, at least they're keeping the name consistent. BattleTech and MechWarrior.
yeah, exactly. Man, I would love it. Did you ever play MechWarrior 5?
Yeah.
I haven't played the BattleTech
tabletop.
No, I've played the tabletop version. I haven't played the BattleTech tactical game where it plays closer to the tabletop game, I think, right?
The strategy game rather than the shooter.
Yeah. MechWarrior 5 clearly is sort of the fantasy of it, but it's not very good because combat just becomes a cluster.
Then you go to MechWarrior Online. And it's BattleTech, but you're in the cockpit.
Oh, really? Does it work better?
Oh, it's so much more fun.
See, yeah, I wish someone could figure out mech-based FPS combat that didn't devolve into I don't know. That didn't feel just like an FPS, I guess. I'm not sure how you would do it.
Well, so I mean, I think MechWarrior Online did that fairly well because
I've never played it, so
you have like all the various mechs that are in BattleTech, and then you can customize their loadouts to extremely granular levels,
like BattleTech.
Yeah. Like it is BattleTech, but you also get to sit in the cockpit and run around. This was back like 2013, 2014 when I was playing it. I had a Hunchback, which is one of the different mech types that all I had loaded on me was medium range missiles. And so I would just find a spot to perch up. Allies would ping targets, and I'd be like, missiles.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool as hell. Oh man, maybe I'll get back into MechWarrior 5, give it another chance. Maybe I'll play some BattleTech. I do miss BattleTech. Yeah. It's clearly a fun tabletop game. I just forget so many of the rules and stuff like that.
It is very crunchy, very rules heavy.
And I think they have ways of reducing that. I don't know if they have rule subsets where it's like, okay, this is like the easy baby version. And then there's like your left throttle is down 12%. It's like, oh God. Okay. Anything
that's it for me.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'm playing Death Stranding 2, still chipping away at that. I don't know. I've been told that Death Stranding 2 picks up where
the credits,
where I reached a point in Death Stranding 2, I met a character named Doctor. You want to guess what the Doctor does? They're a doctor.
Oh, I thought they were a messenger.
Yeah. It's very Dickens. But so I met this character doctor, and I was told that like after that the game would pick up and becomes a little more actiony or a little more exciting or something. Which there was a couple cool missions afterward, but I'll have to see like how much Death Stranding 2 really picks up. If it doesn't pick up a whole lot, I gotta say I'm not a huge fan of it. There's a lot that Death Stranding has that Death Stranding 2 doesn't. That makes Death Stranding more interesting, even though it's not necessarily good. One of the big, I think, gaping holes in Death Stranding 2 was the first Death Stranding was about the United States, right? Now, so there was some kind of theme there about the US, about freedom, about unity, right? And it was very Kojima. Now, of course, the problem with that is I think a lot of the patriotism in Death Stranding is sort of hollow and thin. Because it's just like, hey, we have to bring people together. It's like, okay, that's great, but like the problem with unity is not, not everybody, you can't tolerate people who will not tolerate you, if that makes sense, Like all are welcome who welcome all, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody welcomes all, and that's a problem. So it's like this hollow sort of very surface level unity, and we have to bring people together, and that's great. The first Death Stranding I thought was really simplistic. It took a very simplistic view of the United States as a force of good. It's like, why is America special? Why is it important?
Yeah.
Just because it felt that it was just a lot of hollow patriotism. But there was a theme, there was some sort of identity. In Death Stranding 2, you go to Australia, you're connecting Australia. Australia is a whole nother country with a whole nother history and a whole nother society and all that stuff. But now it's not a game about Australia. It's just sort of a game where there isn't a strong theme tying the entire game together. It's just more we have to bring people together. So the game doesn't have the same focus on theme that it did in the first game. That it did in the first Death Stranding.
Yeah.
This one thus far is a little more, I don't know, it's introducing new characters that have little gimmicks about them. There's backstory. There's a mystery with BB that you have to figure out that you don't know yet. So there's that. So it's just sort of these little plot devices that you're just making deliveries until they unravel themselves, which I guess is fine, but there's just not the deeper, I think, more connective tissue that was underneath the first Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Even though, again, in that first Death Stranding, you could pick at it and criticize it till the cows come home because it wasn't exactly the most well-written or coherent picture of like American life, as opposed to something like Red Dead Redemption 2, which I think had a lot to say about the United States, about America, about freedom, about the U.S. history, all that stuff, right? Even without necessarily saying it, it was sort of baked into the world, and the themes and the characters and the side stories, right? Even if like it wasn't literally Dutch going, the Civil War was states' rights, Arthur. It literally wasn't that. Actually, I feel like Dutch would say it was slavery.
Yeah.
But that's Dutch's problem, is he would say that, but he would not really act on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another conversation about Red Dead 2 another day. So what else have I been playing besides? Peak. Have you tried Peak out?
I've tried Peak.
Peak's pretty fun. Yeah, I've played with some people. It reminds me of, actually, funny enough, it kind of reminds me of Death Stranding because you have stamina, you have to do a lot of climbing. So imagine like Death Stranding, also Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, because you have to climb up stuff and your stamina depletes, and you kind of have to reach before your stamina depletes. And then there are roguelike elements. You have to find food and items that'll help you out, whether it's ropes or, I don't know how to pronounce this, pitons, the thing you put into a wall.
I actually don't know if it's pitons. That's just the way I've always heard it pronounced.
Yeah, I don't. If I went on Google and looked it up, I could find a pronunciation, but I'm not going to out of pure principle. No, don't do it.
Just sneak it into the podcast. Pitons.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's one of those games that creates chaotic comedic moments without you having to really try. It's a very mean game. There's a biome now. So the way the game works is, if you haven't played it, you climb up a mountain, right? And as you reach certain tiers, a new biome loads, and you have to climb up that biome. So the recent biome is the Mesa biome, which has a giant tornado that goes around. And if you get caught up, you just get tossed around.
I was going to try to make a joke about Mesa.
If you get caught up in this tornado, you just get tossed around and you're just flailing everywhere. And it's very funny and very silly. The game's physics are very heavy. You can feel it in every footstep, every time you grab a rope, every time you're climbing. You can really feel like gravity sort of pulling down on you, and the weight of your character and the weight of other characters. And there's a bunch of fun little dynamics. I mean, if a friendly player goes unconscious, you can pick them up and carry them. You only start with one backpack, so you have to designate somebody like the backpack person, and they have to carry the backpack and open the backpack and all that. Or you can open the backpack on them, but they just have to carry it. And the backpack can fall. So I experienced this. If you put the backpack down on a rock and it falls off the rock and down the mountain, it's just gone. There's rain in the game that makes you slip. There's all kinds of ridiculous dangers. There are these plants that explode if you touch them. So they explode and they just send you flying. So you have to be careful of those. In the Mesa update, there's dynamite that if you get too close, just launches. And you can pick up and toss to throw away. But it is funny. I was playing with a group of people and they were way up ahead of me. And I just kept hearing like, as they were like trying to navigate through it was like they were, because you are literally navigating a minefield, a dynamite field. And some of them are in your way in such a way that you just have to pick them up and toss them and hope that you don't get exploded. But yeah, so it's funny hearing the echo, because the sound design of the game is really good. If you use the proximity chat, the in-game chat, you can hear people's voices echo. Yeah. So that leads you in their direction, but you have to be pretty close to like communicate fully. But yeah, it was just funny climbing up this mountain, and every now and then it's just and you're like, oh, did someone die? You just don't know. And you're like, oh. Yeah, exactly, something like that is what you're terrified of. But yeah, Peak's really fun. It's one of the better games this year. Okay, I think that's all I want to talk about. Let's hit the news. Thanks for listening. If you like our content, please consider subscribing or leaving a like and comment. You can find us at patreon.com/thegamingdiscourse. And our tiers are $2, $4, $7, and $10 and include getting your name in the video credits, early access, and access to our Discord server. I wanted to bring up this letter that was posted from Arkane Studios' STJV union, which I believe may be a French union. I'm not 100% certain on that. It's written about Microsoft's work with the Israeli government. I'll say at the outset, I don't really have a whole lot to say on this, but I just kind of wanted to broach it and bring it up and read a bit of it because I do think it's important. So I'm just going to read from the letter. Arkane Studios' STJV section joins boycott, divestment sanctions and the No Azure for Apartheid and their demands for Microsoft to stop supporting the Israeli regime. We think that Microsoft has no place becoming accomplice of a genocide, and as Microsoft employees, we don't want to be part of this sinister project for Gaza. Moreover, we think it's our responsibility as tech workers to raise the alarm and to ensure that our technologies are used to make the voices of the oppressed heard and not facilitate their demise. I'm going to read their demands here in a second once I get... Okay, so their demands, which they join No Azure for Apartheid in their demands, are the termination of all ongoing or future contracts with the Israeli occupation forces, disclosing all ties to the Israeli military, as well as conducting a transparent, independent, and public audit of Microsoft Technologies, contract services, and investments to make sure they are not used to violate the United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, the Geneva Convention, and their additional protocols in Microsoft's own human rights statement in Palestine or anywhere, calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, and then uphold free speech and ensure the protection of pro-Palestinian speech and the safety of allies, employees, as well as any action fundraising initiatives on internal company platforms. So I don't think Microsoft has responded to this. I haven't seen them respond. And like I said, I don't know. I kind of just wanted to bring it up because I do follow the news, and yeah, you know, it's been hard to. There are certain things that I just can't stomach. So I'm not somebody that can go on TikTok or wherever and just watch endless clips of inhumanities done to anybody. But yeah, what's happening in Gaza right now is a genocide, and it's, I mean, I don't know, what am I going to say that hasn't already been said, that hasn't been said by smarter people about just the utter inhumanity, brutality, and despair that's on display. Yeah, and you know, I feel like in our modern world, we're often left to feel like there's not a whole lot we can do. There are a lot of people that have a lot of power. Some of those people are elected, some of them aren't. Nobody elected billionaires, but they wield just as much power as senators in some cases. And that's scary, and that also sucks. And it's also alienating. But maybe, I don't know, lucky for us, I guess, that we live in a relatively free and relatively secure, for the moment, society. And, you know, if we have the opportunity to speak out or do something, I think that's important. Microsoft's I would say in a tough position. They're not. I think it's easy to follow those steps. I think Microsoft, if from a corporate perspective, is in a tough position because they're a corporation that abides by a different set of values and humanity, which is how do we handle this without losing stock price or pissing off a senator that, you know, is equally evil or something. So yeah, good on them. I'd like to say that I think this is also a benefit of unions, because as an individual worker, you cannot necessarily express those concerns, right? One, for fear of your job. Two, because you are just an individual. So you can post on social media, and then, you know, what are you going to do? You can email your boss, but it's just an email to a boss. What are you going to do? But yeah, with a union, there's solidarity. Now you can have a statement. You can have some form of collective action, collective speech that shows not only solidarity, not only sort of affirming other people's belief in something humane, but also, you know, is a collective thing that I think builds morale and helps facilitate action, or try to facilitate action. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say on this. I would hope Microsoft has some kind of response. Because this is like one of the biggest things happening on Earth right now. I think I read I don't know how many. There was like there was a group of journalists murdered in Gaza recently. They were killed, and I think I read in the AP that marked not like a ridiculously high number of journalists being killed, but it made the current war in Gaza like the most deadly war for journalists this century. I may be wrong about that, but that's just that just I don't know. That's horrible. Obviously, the war is horrible for a lot of other reasons too. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Good on Arkane Studios. We need more unions. This is one of the benefits, and maybe it's a benefit we should talk about more often when we talk about unions, because you do get a voice in things like this. You maybe you get to lessen some of that alienation. Do you have anything you would like to say?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, we will move on to an equally we talked about Avalon as much as we could, and I was almost like, let's just do a sport podcast, please. Can we just do a sport podcast?
Top 10 sport creations. Number 10.
Louisiana has sued Roblox. In a statement, the state says Roblox has and continues to facilitate the distribution of child sexual abuse material and the sexual exploitation of Louisiana's children, knowingly and intentionally fails to implement basic safety protocols to protect child users from predators, knowing and intentionally fails to provide notice to parents and child users of its dangers. Roblox responded, of course, with a lengthy statement about denying a lot of this. Also,
their statement could be summed up with "nuh-uh,"
and laying out in detail a lot of the actions they've taken to make their platform safer and stuff like that. I have a lot to say about Roblox. Do you have any reactions?
Not right away. We can continue.
Okay, so yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I would like to say, I think Roblox's problem is that it's an incredibly popular program, so it's suffering from its own success in some ways. But another issue is that popularity is because it is free and because it lowers the bar for accessibility. Not accessibility in terms of anybody can play it, but in terms of how do you just garner an audience, right? So it's free to play. And then you bring those people in and you have to retain them and you have to exploit them, right? So Roblox, I think, is suffering from its own success because I don't necessarily think there's anything I don't think it's obviously not the game mechanics of Roblox itself that are the problem.
Yeah.
I think it is the scope. And yeah, I do think it is a company that is way too big, that has gotten way too popular and cannot manage its own space. Roblox would argue with me and tell me that's wrong, and I would roll my eyes. Now, but again, at the same time, it's like, I don't, and I'm not saying this in defense of Roblox. I think I should say this just because it's the reality. Every platform is going to have problems like this, and I don't know what the solution is. One of the issues with Roblox is that you have, I'm not sure what what the official term for it is, but it's where users will meet on Roblox and then they sort of migrate to a different service. So you meet on Roblox and then you migrate to Discord, right? And that makes things harder to track because now you're bouncing between different places and you're between different companies. So Roblox and Discord don't have anything to do with one another. So it's harder to implement child safety protections when you're going different places, right? But even with that said, I do think there is also a problem that, I don't know, I do not trust the US government, specifically conservative governments, with understanding the scope of internet problems or understanding understanding a problem on the internet with some kind of frame of reference that isn't, a millionaire, a 100,000-year-old person like trying to understand a series of tubes, right? So I do think that's a problem. I remember, what was it? Was his name Stephen King from Iowa? I don't remember. His last name was King. But during, they had a Google CEO that was testifying before Congress once. And he held his iPhone out and he was like, my daughter was playing a game and an ad came on. Can you tell me why? And he was like, yeah, that's an iPhone. We don't make those. Like he had to explain the difference between iPhone and a Samsung or a Google, whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is that, the age and the disconnectedness of our lawmakers, I think is a problem. It's the same thing with loot boxes. It's like, yes, loot boxes are a problem. Yes, they need regulation, but I don't know if I trust currently our federal government with understanding the problem and implementing regulation that is helpful. It's the same thing with violent video games, right? Which is even less of a problem because violent video games aren't really a problem. But Hillary Clinton's big moment being, a crackdown on violent video games did absolutely nothing. And I think it was partially because what you knew was hot coffee and you didn't understand the wider scope or the nuances to the problem, even if there wasn't a problem. So I'm rambling a little bit here. I'm sorry. And it's also I don't know if you've read about the UK's new digital security law that has been implemented. I forget what the law's name is. That requires, if your website uses or has content that could be harmful to children, you have to have certain ID protections to there's like facial recognition and stuff like that, and you have third-party companies that facilitate that, and of course that's a whole nother bag of worms, right?
Yeah.
Is you have government regulation, which I think everyone agrees needs to happen, but then you're facilitating it with like private interests, and I just don't. To me, that is not a great solution. Any form of like endeavor, I don't know, unless these are not-for-profit companies that don't have to pay any money to keep themselves running and the people there have all their needs met, they have to have some sort of incentive to make themselves operational, right? And that makes me incredibly wary. So like, anyway, the point I'm bringing that up for is, how do we regulate Roblox? I don't know. But I just, I just do not trust the U.S. government to come up with a way to do that effectively or safely, or in a way that understands the nuances of the issue. And when I say the nuances of the issue, obviously, like, yes, abuse, sexual harm, pedophilia, those aren't nuanced things. They're all horrible. They're black and white. But what I mean is understanding video games, understanding platforms, right? Which I don't think they would.
Well, we do know that the answer to how do we moderate, regulate Roblox isn't vigilantism.
Yeah, so that was something, I don't know. That's something that I think, I haven't watched a lot of that content, but I do think you have to ask yourself, what is the reason for it?
Yeah.
So again, I haven't seen the content. Yeah. I don't know. Roblox says it's not good. It interferes with their procedures, right? Roblox says that some content creators were like not hiding information, but holding on to information and doing something with it before they were giving it to Roblox, right? So, but what I will say is that if you are, I don't know, I think you have to ask yourself, if you're going to go on Roblox and try to do justice by yourself, you have to ask the question of what do you really want out of this? Are you going to make sensationalist thumbnails? Yeah. And is it going to be like Ashton Kutcher's, you got pranked? Is this going to be like the TV show where you catch people cheating or something like that, right? Is it sensationalism? Is it To Catch a Predator, right? Where I think, like To Catch a Predator, I think partially why that show was so successful is because you could point at a TV screen and be angry at somebody and laugh at somebody, right? Was that a really desire for justice, for reform, for fixing a deeply concerning problem in society? Or was that just a few steps away from a pillory, where 100 years ago you could throw a fucking lettuce at a guy? But we can't do that anymore, so what we can do is watch them on TV and point and laugh. And that makes us feel better, but it's like, I don't know. And I'm not sitting here saying everything needs to fix the root of the problem or anything like that. All I'm saying is with these content creators is, what's your real motive behind this? Because if it's, oh my God, YouTube thumbnails, oh my God, can you believe this? Then you're doing a disservice to actually helping fix these problems. So that's what I would have to say about that. Yeah. But again, the one content creator that was specifically involved with this, I do not watch their content, and yeah. So anything else?
No.
I will say that outside of this, Roblox is a sucky company.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously pedophilia is the biggest problem on the platform. Like, that's the most harmful. Loot boxes and microtransactions suck, but that is nothing compared to the actual harm and real damage done by, sexual abuse and stuff like that, obviously. But besides those things, yes, Roblox is also just an exploitative mess where children are delivered into or given a world where everything is monetized, where everything is exploitation, where everything has to follow trends, where, I don't know, it is everything wrong with video games, but distilled to a smaller ecosystem and amplified. And that sucks. So yeah, there's all those problems with Roblox as well. Not to mention them saying like, hey, we get, kids in other countries, they can make a living doing this, and it's like the most neoliberal statement of all time. Instead of, doing something that to fix the root cause of a problem, we're going to start an exploitative video game where you have the opportunity to earn Robux, which then you can cash out through us. We take, like Tony Soprano, we take our taste, okay? And then it's like, and then you can be successful. Like the most ridiculous neoliberal thing of all time. But yeah, those are the times that we live in. And, would the world be better if Roblox disappeared?
Probably.
Maybe.
I'd say yes.
I'm sure there's people out there with real passion for it, but I don't know. Go play Halo. I'm kidding. I'm sure Roblox, there are some passionate people that do some cool stuff. There's some cool communities out there. But yeah, the exploitation, the market, I don't know if the markets are still the thing in Roblox, but like they're ridiculous. And again, they're not the only game with that, right? CSGO skins are the same way. And it's the same kind of problem. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Anything else you would like to say about this? Okay. Is there anything you want to say about anything at all? It's your time. It's Connor's Corner. Chicken nuggets? We don't have Richard here, so we're not going to do tidbits. I guess we'll just end the podcast.
It's like The Sopranos.
Cut to black.